I know you're gonna dig this.
And we are back for another walkthrough video. And I just wanted to bring you guys along with me today because this is a little bit different than what I normally do. You usually see me capturing portraits or, certain event photography, etc. This is kind of a combination of both. So I was hired by XRG, that's Experience Restaurant Group, and essentially they do casual and fine dining operations, and they create experiences for certain people. So when I was contacted, this was for me to capture somebody who was coming into a restaurant in midtown Manhattan. The restaurant is called Sol Cocina. It's a beautiful restaurant. If you ever get an opportunity to go there, this is around 23rd Street, closer to the west side. And I was hired to capture Mark Wahlberg, who was coming in to town for a book signing. And before he went to his book signing, he wanted to get something to eat. So you're seeing me walk in, talk to the owner, meeting him for the first time, and he's bringing me to the back so I can set up. He's giving me some details on, the restaurant, who he is, how everything's supposed to go today. It's going to be a short run. Originally, I thought the book signing was actually here, but he's here for the book signing, but wanted to get food first. So when he comes in, he comes straight in and he walks to the back. And I'm not aware, because nobody tells me that he's there, until I hear somebody mention one of the clients right there that came in, or customers to sit down and eat, say, "Is that Mark Wahlberg?" And then this happens. He goes into the kitchen and he starts giving a pep talk and big ups to the actual location for the food and the workers for obviously creating the food, and that they're going to have a great day. And then this is when all of the shots started. So in the back area is kind of dark because it's really lit naturally. So all of the lighting in the rear is very, very low, which is why I actually have my speed light on. That's my Godox 860. And during this time period, he's walking along with what I would assume is his social media person. And they are capturing video footage and behind the scenes content of him mixing drinks and interacting with customers. So when I originally asked what was going to happen to XRG, they just told me, they would want me to follow him throughout and get some candid shots of him with the restaurant. And when I spoke to the owner, he said, listen, just follow him wherever he goes. Just capture shots of him doing whatever. I just need some shots of him with the food.
I let you show, don't let you in on my life. I tell you the things that you need to know. I know you like that, I know you need that. The way you're moving your body, don't need your feedback. I know it makes sense, don't know I play pretend. Is it you know what? I invented the brand, but this
So he's handing out drinks to everybody, and at the same time he's having conversations discussing what the actual brand of the drink is about. He states that, he invested in the drink itself, but it's not a celebrity brand. And he's just sharing this information with the people that are there. So everybody's pretty much getting drinks on the house, and they're just putting it on his tab. So the difficulty in a session like this is making sure that you capture the individual, but you also capture the people around them. I had to make sure, because he was behind the bar, I had to make a decision. Do I shoot perpendicular to him towards the people and get side profiles, or do I get the people as a background and him as the primary subject? Excuse me. Excuse me. How are you doing? Excuse me. Stop. Excuse me. Stop. So the women to my right weren't aware that it was Mark Wahlberg that was there until the last second, and they were kind of scared to approach, but I told them that he was there interacting with the customers. If they did want a picture or to talk to him, they should do it now before everybody else does it, which is what everybody was doing anyway. As you can see, when a celeb comes in and you're trying to get photos, you are not the photographer, you are a background element. So trying to find your way around it is going to be difficult, but if you know where to go and how to get in between individuals, because they're not going to be piled on each other, you'll be able to get certain shots, no problem.
Just to see the scene. Time goes by, all the leaves have changed, fall in love again. So been a long day, I just wanna lay down and sleep on my bed. What you stuck in my head, I don't know why. Wish that you were next to me, cause it's been a long day. I just wanna lay down and sleep on my bed. What you stuck in my head, I don't know why. Wish that you were next to me. Next to me, you keep testing me. I knew that we were meant to be, the connection was meant to be, but I wanted you physically. Basically, I'm trying to say is that
Once he was done at the bar, he would then move to the general restaurant area where the patrons were eating food. He would talk to them, offer them drinks, pour their water for them, engage with them, just in general conversation to find out more about them, and then move on to the next table.
Nothing could change at the Fago to her blueberry. Nothing could top that if you want. You can see what true love looks like. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Been a long day.
So every shot from this session is just going to be candid. There are no pose shots. It's just him engaging with the people and moving around. So I had to be quick on my toes.
Cause it's been a long day. I just wanna lay down and sleep on my bed. What you stuck in my head, I don't know why. Wish that you weren't.
And as you can see, there are people who have to come down this set of stairs. So I had to make sure I wasn't low on the ground where everybody was in the way, because it's very congested there. So I went up on the top steps to get a downward shot. I'm also bouncing my speed light off the ceiling in order to illuminate everything and not overly expose somebody by aiming it directly at them. Again, this area was very, very dark in the back of the restaurant, but it's a mood aspect. So it's done like that intentionally. I then walk around and I go towards the front in order to try and get another angle, one that's better suited, or at least get a variety so I'm not always getting a top-down angle of him engaging with the customers. I wanted to make sure I got something a little more close. Having the lens helps, but making sure I have the proper angle helps as well.
Can I get to know you? Been a long day. I just wanna lay down and sleep on my bed. But you stuck in my head, I don't know why. Wish that you were next to me, cause it's been a long day. I just wanna
So one thing you'll notice is that throughout the entirety of this video, there are some people that he actually brings with him. I don't know if they're just like friends, family, but there is definitely one guy who I know has to be very close to him, but is also a bodyguard because he stands at a distance. You'll see him to my right. He's wearing a cap, has a great beard, and he is no more than 5 to 7 feet away from him at any given time, just watching surroundings. I met him in the beginning when he asked me who I was actually here with, and that was what keyed me to why he was there and what his role was. My guess, martial artist. So what I tend to do is after he's taken a shot with one group of people, I'll step away back up to a distance so I can see which route he's taking, because I don't want him to cross in front of me and I not be able to position myself to capture certain shots. And I'm glad I did it, because I was able to get this shot because of where they were positioned. So during this whole time, they were setting up his table for him and his group of friends, and they come around and I had to reposition myself to make sure I could capture from another angle. Again, I didn't want it to be too static with the same shot every time. This is him sitting down and checking things appetizer wise at the table. And then he gets up and he continues to capture photos with more of the patrons that are in the restaurant that he was not able to when he was on the opposing side of the actual restaurant. So I do love capturing event photography, and this, like I said, is a combination of both portraiture and event photography. It's more like personal photography. And as he's walking around, it allows me to think on my feet, think about the angles, the depth of field, the lighting, and this prepares me to be better suited for studio photography. Now, as he switches and he repositions and shoots with other people, you're going to notice the bodyguard I was talking about. I actually do address him, ask how his day was as we come over here. But pay attention to Mark Wahlberg, because his head is on a swivel. You see how he turned around? It's because he's trying to analyze exactly what's happening between me and this guy right now. And I think it's funny because you can tell who's very aware of their surroundings when they do things like that. He was definitely paying attention just to make sure everything was on the up and up. So during this time period, they're setting up the rest of the table and delivering the food to them. And I was still on this side from the shots from earlier, but now I didn't want to be in the midst of all the patrons. So I'm eventually going to circle back to the darker area in the back and then shoot with my longer lens, my 70-200 instead of the 24-70, in order to get shots where it does not look intrusive while they're eating. So if you've ever done event photography or wedding photography, you're well aware that people are going to eat at some point in time. It doesn't matter if it's a sweet 16, quinceañera, it doesn't matter what it is. If there's food there, people are going to sit down, they're going to eat. The worst thing you can capture is people eating food. However, in this instance, I was specifically instructed to capture Mark eating the food. The food images are going to be used as marketing material for Sol Cocina restaurant. So it's very important and crucial in instances like this to get them utilizing the surroundings, the environment, as well as eating the actual food. What good is it to market your food if you don't have pictures of people eating it? Now in this section, you'll notice that he is talking to and working with the owner and working with the actual drinks that you saw earlier. So that's what these shots are actually going to capture. I took a few of them, but I'm going to combine them so you can see several photos at once as opposed to just posting them up individually. I had to back up to get enough depth and distance in order to be able to see him holding the bottle or interacting with it, because it's a side profile and they are cut into cubicles. It can get difficult. So after he's finished with the drinks, you're going to notice that he goes to sit down to start to eat, and I reposition myself to the rear of the restaurant behind one of the seating areas where there's a large enough wall for me to prop my camera up, hide myself, and use my 70-200 to get close-up shots of him eating. You don't want to be in the way, you don't want to make people feel uncomfortable, but again, it was crucial to get shots of him eating and interacting with the owner as well, so that way they could use it for marketing material later on. Once he was done eating, he starts to head to the front. They get ready to go outside, and he's going to do a little promo content in the front of the restaurant, and I'll get some shots of the signage as well as him. As he's passing through, he takes a couple of shots with some more patrons, and then he heads out. Again, the most important part after this is to make sure to get shots of him in the front of the restaurant with the signage, which you will hear the owner express he wants as I head outside.
Yeah, that's why I backed up.
So the drink he actually has is a tequila, and he's promoting that as part of what he's doing because he's invested in it, as you heard earlier. Right now, people are coming along the sides of the street. If you see the guy on my right holding the camera, he's going to ask for a picture with him. And I believe either his girlfriend, fiance, wife comes along, and it's pretty funny the photos that I get from that interaction. So if you haven't been under a rock for the past few years or decade, there's a meme that goes around where there's a guy walking with his girl and some other girl passes and he looks back with the ooh face, right? So you're going to notice that when the gentleman who was on my right actually comes to take a photo with him, his significant other jumps in the shot a little late. But the face Mark makes when she does it is just like the guy in that meme. And it's hilarious. It almost looks as if she's his type, and it caught him off guard because he wasn't expecting that in the photo. But just pay close attention to the face that he makes when we get those shots. They're coming up right after this set. All right, so here we go. You see him in the first shot, just him, right? And then, out of the blue, she comes up and he looks at her, but it's like he's analyzing her. And then he takes his phone and starts taking selfies for themselves. And it's interesting because I've never seen him do that with any of the people who were already there until she came along. And then look at the face he's making right here. So they hop in this black caddy, and this is the last shot, but I love the way the car looked, so I had to take a shot of it before they actually pulled off on the street. And then I turn around, I head inside, I pack everything up, and I prepare to head back home. Everything was short, sweet, to the point, and now I can rest. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm The One Will Focus. The One Will Focus on everything. TheOneWillFocus.com. And you take care. Talk to you soon. Peace.